Before we were listing the steps to make tinctures, I will go through some of the information for each step. Clean and sort through freshly gathered plants. Discard any yellow, moldy, damaged, or rotten parts. Separate out the parts you will be tincturing. Flowers, leaves, or other parts. Wash off muddy roots. You may chop the herbs to help open the cell walls to the alcohol. This speeds up the process, which is useful if you want to start using the tincture in 1 or 2 weeks. Fill the glass jar with the plant material, leaving about 1 inch for headroom. Completely cover the herb with vodka, brandy, or rum. Insert a butter knife into the jar and run it around the inside of the jar to release any trapped air bubbles. Add more alcohol to cover. Put on the lid and shake for about 1 minute. Label and date each tincture. If you have room on the label, note what the weather and seasonal conditions were when you gathered these herbs. This is important and will help you identify and track the best gathering times for various herbs. Place the jar in a dark place and let it sit for about 3 to 6 weeks. Shake periodically and check to make sure that the plant material remains covered with alcohol. Add alcohol as needed. This is really important. Make sure to always check the top of the jar for any mold or smell that might be creating. After 3 to 6 weeks have passed and the plant material looks pale, limp, and spent, strain and press the liquid through a piece of cheesecloth into a glass or stainless steel bowl or pitcher, leaving the plant material behind in the jar or in the cheesecloth. Once you pour out all the liquid, spoon out all the herbs onto the cheesecloth. Wrap the cheesecloth around the herbs, hold over the bowl or pitcher, and wring out any additional tincture. You want to make sure that you get all the material and all the available tincture. Using a funnel, if desired, pour the tincture into a glass bottle of the appropriate size. Label, date, and store the bottle in a cool, dark place. Now, to be honest, you don't always have to get the last 3 steps right away. I like to keep jars of tincture for several years sitting on my shelves that still have not been strained. If they don't create any mold and they're well preserved, the alcohol will keep this plant preserved. I like to enjoy looking at the preserved plants and just strain some tincture only as needed. There are some variations of this method that we will talk later on. Variants of methods for the tinctures are the following. Remember, now you're working with alcohol that has only 5% water. You will have to add some water to the water-soluble components of the herb that can be extracted or using extra amounts of fresh material which contain their own water. This happens when you're using 190% alcohol. The proportion can be increased to 1 part alcohol to 4 to 5 parts fresh plant material. A simple way to do this is to run the tincture through 2 or 3 more times. For example, red clover tincture, I will gather material and prepare the tincture once. 2 or 3 weeks later, I will strain and repack the fluid with yet another picking of red clover. This obviously makes a stronger medicine, so the dosage should be less, roughly 1 or 2 drops per every 10 pounds of weight. and we're talking here about body weight. This is a bit more work, but some plants such as ginger, burdock, and poplar buds need the higher concentration of 180 proof alcohol to extract their resins and essential oils. You can also use the herb. If you happen to have a juicer, you can press the juice from the first herb and mix that with an equal amount of 80 proof alcohol to yield a 20% alcohol tincture. 1 1/2 parts juice to 1 part alcohol will yield a 16% alcohol tincture. Alternatively, you can blend 1 part of 190 proof alcohol with 4 parts juice to yield 19% alcohol tincture. 5 parts juice to 1 part alcohol will yield a 15% alcohol tincture. Using dried herbs, although fresh plant tinctures are usually preferable, dry plant tinctures also are an acceptable alternative. Here are the steps to follow. Grind 4 ounces of dry herbs to a powder by using a mortar and pestle. Place the herbs into a 1 pint glass jar. Fill the jar to the top with 80 proof alcohol. Shake every day. Then finally, another variation method for tincture has to do with using glycerates instead of alcohol. For alcohol-sensitive individuals or for children, consider making a glycerate instead of an alcohol-based tincture. Glycerine, like we talked about before, is a thick, sweet, and slippery filling liquid. It helps mask the taste of a bitter herb such as dandelion, so children like it better. It extracts most plants' alkaloids and mucilates the slippery quality of mallow root, for example, but it will not extract resins found in poplar, white pine, and ginger. Please follow the guidelines for standard tincture. In the next lesson, we're going to learn how to make a glycerate.